Thank you, folks. My next guest is a terrifically funny performer and writer. He is also well known as an activist, presidential candidate, and lecturer. In fact, he will be speaking tomorrow night at the State University of New York at New Paltz. And we are delighted to have him with us tonight. Please welcome Dick Gregory.
Wow, I was late coming. I just kissed that beautiful black model, and she was, Tracy. You know, and a lot of people surprised she won, but didn't surprise me, because this is our year now. You know. No, I mean, think about, you know, Miss America, for 53 years, we were told we weren't beautiful. Then this year, we win it 1 and 2. And I ran home that night and grabbed my wife, pulled out the bed, and said, honey, you is official now. And then I was back there when she talked to the astronaut, and I talked to the astronaut. I talked to the first black astronaut. The second one who just got back, you know, we didn't know he was going. I mean, he just got up there, and then they said he's there. So I figured something gonna happen. And they lost 2 satellites. And I figured they sent him up because they knew it was dangerous and they had somebody to blame it on. But the first one was very beautiful. I was supposed to go and watch them blast him off, but I didn't go when I found out they was gonna ship him up at night. Because, see, the white boys go in the daytime. And I figured, why you send him at night? You think he's gonna steal something? And you know, I've been on the stage with him, and he don't rap right for a brother that's had that type of experience. He's too quiet, you know? So either he didn't go, or he saw something up there that scared him to death. Where's the brother that ran up the Empire State Building? Stand up, stand up. Incredible. You know, now, the reason I say that is because I'm really trying to develop some nice young white dudes for the Winter Olympics next time, because y'all was horrible this last time. No. Yeah. You know, no. Well, I mean like this. See, I can understand the American ice skaters, you know, losing out to Finland, but to Egypt? Why? Well, okay. Let me tell you something. Being an entertainer and watching Michael Jackson, I mean, do you know what it means for an entertainer to be that hot? I mean, I looked at the Grammy Awards the other night, and it was like the Michael Jackson show, right? But imagine an entertainer being so hot, he's doing a Pepsi-Cola commercial, and his hair catch on fire. Which put me in the spot, because I was getting ready to do a Coca-Cola commercial, but I figure if Pepsi can get that much free space because the black dude's hair caught on fire, Coke might barbecue me. And then I was thinking that if Jesse Jackson really plays his hand right and really wanted to lock up the Democratic nomination, all Jesse would have to do is just put the rumor out that he's Michael Jackson's uncle. Then do one of those political commercials, you know, like with the glove on, standing there sipping a Pepsi, with Smokey the Bear whispering in his ear, only you can prevent hair fall. And then show him with a bagel, dipping it in some chicken soup and bite into it. He'd win by a landslide. But, you know, I mean, one thing about America, we are able to talk about ethnic slurs and flush it out. You know, what happens when you're in a country where they talk a foreign language and you don't know what they said about you? See, I had that happen to me in Russia. My wife and I were walking down the street, and Lillian just smiling and waving at this Russian. So I said, what's wrong with you? She said, he just said hello. You don't know what he said. He said, oh, he might have called you a nigger. She said, well, what must I do next time? I said, do what I do. Just smile and say, same to you and your mama. I can't believe we finally have reached the month of March, because February is like, I've never worked so hard in my life on the college campus as February, because that's Black Month, which shows you the progress black folks are making, because remember, it used to be Negro History Week. Then to go from Negro History Week to Black Month, I mean, that is progress. But black folks are not really happy, because wouldn't you know when they give us the money, it'd be the month of February? With all them days missing. I mean, think, there's 11 more months. Now, I didn't expect them to lay a 31 day on us, but not February. And February, you know, February turned me off, and a lot of black folks, they turn off. Like for instance, February the 2nd, what is groundhog? If the groundhog, I was doing a television show, February 2nd, I said, if the groundhog sees a shadow, it's 6 more weeks of winter. I said, well, at my house, the groundhog came out and saw 6 black cats. They said, what does that mean? I said, 6 more weeks of basketball. How I know? And then February the 22nd is a rough day for me because that's George Washington's birthday. And I just don't like celebrating the birthday of a slave master. So they closed my school down when I was a child. I used to break into school every 22nd and study all day. And then to be told that George Washington never told a lie. Why? You ever heard that silly story? Because he chopped the cherry tree down and his daddy didn't whoop him. Look, I have 10 children. I know why he didn't get no whooping. He walked in the house with that axe in his hand and said, I chopped the tree down. God bless you. Peace be with you.
Dick Gregory, nice job, Dick.
Thank you, son.
It was in 1968 that you actually ran for president?
1968, I ran for president of the United States.
Yeah, how did that go?
Well, it was fine because the Secret Service agents, I told them I didn't want them because they've been around everybody who get hit, you know.
Yeah.
And so then they said, well, what would happen if you became the president of the United States? How would you protect yourself? I would just get on television like this and say, well, y'all, I'm the new president now. That means I own all the tanks. And when I come out in the street, wherever them shots come from, we wiping out the whole area. No, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
You actually got a lot of votes, huh?
I got 1.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah, 1.5 million.
Now, how did that figure in the overall scheme of the general election?
Well, I guess what happened, you had a George Wallace was running, Richard Nixon, you had a Hubert Humphrey and a Dick Gregory, and I got 1.5 million votes, and Hubert Humphrey lost by 500,000. So you could almost say that if I wasn't in the race, had the folks voted for me, they probably wouldn't have voted for Dick Nixon or George Wallace, so Humphrey would have been the president by 1 million, had it happened. And then that's kind of interesting to think about that raw, naked power. A little black dude born on welfare in 1932 and carrying myself in a way where I determine who the president of the United States is going to be. That's power.
Yeah, not a...
Well, not just one, 2 presidents.
We have you to thank for the presidency of Richard Nixon.
We have me to thank for...
Is that how that works?
Wait a minute. I mean, would you rather have Watergate then or have it sitting in the wings? I mean, it's out now. And how would you miss a Gerald Ford?
Yeah, that's right. That was a lot of fun.
I mean, he was fun. And Gerald Ford might be a prophet, too.
Really?
Remember when Queen Elizabeth was over here and the state dinner, and actually the president, you know, you have to dance with the first, and the band struck up The Lady Was a Tramp. And everybody was embarrassed. And then 5 years later, you know, they caught the guy in a, well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Gee, you know,
think about that.
Yeah.
He might be a prophet.
Yeah. Dick, nice to see you. Thank you
brother.
very much for being here. I appreciate it. Come back anytime. We got to go away here. We'll be right back. Paul Schaefer has written a special song for Tracy Long. Nice job.